Okay, gang. So we're going to just review very quickly lines 165 to 170. If you recall, Achilles just killed Hector, but did not pierce his windpipe, so Hector can still speak. And Prince Achilles is in line 170, exalting or celebrating. And he says to Hector, Hector, had you thought that you could kill Patroclus and be safe? Nothing to dread from me. I was not there. All childishness. Though distant then, Patroclus's comrade in arms was greater far than he, and it is I who have been left behind that day beside the deep sea ships, who now have made your knees give way. The dogs and kites will rip at your body, but Patroclus's body will lie in honor when the Greeks give him a funeral. And I have students in the room if you hear anything, so they're helping me out. Hector, barely whispering, replied. Now I'm going to do my dying voice. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I beg you, by your soul and by your parents, do not let the dogs feed on me in your encampment by the ships, except the bronze and gold my father will provide as gifts. My father and her ladyship, my mother. Let them have my body back so that our men and women may accord me decency of fire when I am dead. And if you look to the right, your note says, burning the bodies of the dead was customary at funeral pyre. Achilles, the great runner, scowled and said, beg me no beggary by soul or parents, you whining dog. Would God my passion drove me to slaughter you and eat you raw. You've caused such agony to me. No man exists who could defend you from the carrion pack or the pack of wild animals who will feed on your body. Not if they spread for me 10 times your ransom, 20 times, and promise more as well. Aye, not if Priam, your father, the king of Troy, son of Dardanus, tells them to buy you for your weight in gold. You'll have no bed of death, nor will you be laid out and mourned by her who gave you birth. Dogs and birds will have you, every scrap. Then at the point of death, Lord Hector said, I see you now for what you are. No chance to win you over. Iron in your breast, your heart is. Think a bit, though, and this is what I want you to think about because it was introduced by a colon. This may be a thing the gods in anger hold against you on that day when Paris and Apollo destroy you at the gates, great as you are. Even as he spoke, the end came and death hid him. Spirit from body fluttered to undergloom, bewailing fate that made him leave his youth and manhood in the world. And as he died, Achilles spoke again to the dying Hector, and Achilles said, Die! Make an end! I shall accept my own death whenever Zeus and the other gods desire. At this, Achilles pulled his spearhead from Hector's body, laying it aside, and stripped the blood-stained shield and cuirass, and you have a note on that, a breastplate, from his shoulders. He took his armor, he took his weapons. Other Greeks or Achaeans hastened round to see Hector's fine body and his comely face, and no one came who did not stab the body. Okay, so Hector's fine body and comely face. Gang, comely just means handsome. Glancing at one another, the Greeks would say, now Hector has turned vulnerable. What was the definition of vulnerable? Weak? Yes. Easily hurt? Yes. Softer than when he put torches to our ships. And he who said this, he would say, oh, no, Hector's vulnerable. Stab, stab, and would inflict a wound. When the great master of pursuit, Achilles, had the body stripped, he stood among them, saying swiftly, friends, my lords and captains of Argives, now that the gods at last have let me bring to earth this man who wrought havoc or widespread destruction among us, more than all the rest, come, we'll offer battle around the city to learn the intentions of the Trojans now. Will they give up their strong point at this loss? Can they fight on, though Hector is dead? But wait, why do I ponder? Why take up these questions? Down by the ships, Patroclus's body lies unwept, unburied. I shall not forget him while I can keep my feet among the living. If in the dead world they forget the dead, I say there too I shall remember him, my friend. Man of Achaia, or men of Greece, lift a song. Down to the ships we go to take this Patroclus's body, down to the ships we go and take Hector's body, our glory. We have beaten Hector down, to whom, as to a god, the Trojans prayed. Indeed, he had in mind for Hector's body outrage and shame. Behind both of Hector's feet, Achilles pierced the tendons, heel to ankle. Rawhide cords he drew through both and lashed them to the back of his chariot, letting the man's head trail. Stepping aboard the chariot, bearing this great trophy of the arms or the armor of Hector, Achilles took the reins and whipped the team ahead into a willing run. A dust cloud rose above the furrowing body. The dark tresses of Hector's hair flowed behind, and Hector's head, so princely once, lay back in dust. Now, you go to question E. Reread lines 246 to 256. And why do you think Achilles mistreats Hector's body in this manner? Now, you want to make sure that you restate part of the question and you answer in a complete sentence. And I'll see that tomorrow when we hand it in.